Enough people have requested this video and have asked questions regarding both these devices, and I'm just sick of putting this off. Today, we're going to compare the iPad mini 5th generation to the iPad Air 2019. And this is probably going to be the shortest comparison video I've ever done because these two devices, despite their size differences, are so similar. But before we continue here, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a like on this video, comment if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, as the algorithm likes that, and will help push my content to more people. So beginning with design. These tablets are the same. And I'm not even going to go over the other categories because in almost every aspect, once again, besides size, these tablets are the same. They have the same design aesthetic. They have the same display quality. They have the same battery life roughly. They have the same cameras. They have the same performance. They have the same processor and RAM and overall iOS or iPadOS experience. There are a couple key nuances between these two devices, and I'm here to highlight them today. Difference number one is obviously the form factor and ultimately the display size. The iPad Air is the proper successor to the original iPad. It has a 10.5-inch display, which is great for media consumption and drawing and doing work-based tasks, whereas the iPad mini, which was launched 2 years after the original iPad in 2012, this form factor is meant for compact usage. It's meant for children. It's meant for somebody who doesn't want to haul this big boy around. They want to fit this into a back pocket or a purse or something. iPad mini is great. I can even hold it in one hand, and I have pretty average sized hands. So there are advantages to both of these form factors. So it really boils down to personal preference, although I'd recommend the iPad mini for people who just, once again, want a smaller form factor that will fit in a smaller space, and for people who are doing less work and more play. Although you can do work on here, it is better to do work on the iPad Air because of its larger display size, which accommodates the Apple Pencil, I would say, better, which also has a smart connector, which I'll talk about. And yeah, it just gives you more screen real estate to do split screen multitasking, etc. This device is more fit towards somebody who wants to do media consumption, I would say, although the iPad Air with its massive display is really great for video streaming. And if you really care about watching movies and TV shows, this might be worth the extra money. But going back to the mini here, this is a great multimedia consumption device, which is compact. It fits really nicely in your hand. And it's good for little kids. If you're buying this for your son or your daughter or just a kid in your life, this is going to fit into their hands better. And I honestly would have preferred this tablet if I was, 6 to 9 years old. Next up, let's quickly talk about speaker quality. These both have the same speaker setups as far as I'm concerned. However, with size, you get better sound quality with the iPad Air. I think it has more room for the sound to reverberate and come out of the drivers. Here, the sound is okay. It just sounds like it's coming out of a tin can more. So, in terms of speaker quality for media consumption, iPad Air wins. And I would say it wins also, once again, because of its large display, which is better, once again, for consuming video. Next up, let's talk displays real quick here. And while these displays have the same quality, the same P3 color, the same True Tone, and a very similar resolution, the PPI count on both is different. It's actually higher on the iPad mini because if you shrink a similar size resolution down to 7.9 inches from around 10 inches, the pixels become smaller and therefore things will look sharper. So you have more pixels per inch with the iPad mini. If that's something that you care about, then obviously buy this, but I wouldn't say that's a deciding factor. Both the displays on here look excellent, but that's just something you should keep in mind. And last up, kind of going off what I said about, work and play, the mini is more for play, the Air is more for work. Well, this is made even more clear as the iPad Air features the smart connector while the mini does not. The smart connector allows you to connect to Apple's hardware keyboard without Bluetooth. It's a really nice keyboard setup, and if you wanted to do actual work and typing, this once again is just going to be a better device because of its bigger display here that is absent on the mini, which I think indicates that once again this is more of a multimedia consumption device. Once again, you can do work on both. You can use the Apple Pencil, you can do schoolwork. I know people who do. However, I will say it again, although iPad Air will cost you ultimately $100 more, the extra screen real estate really is worth it. And that about wraps things up. I hope this iPad comparison helped you out. Once again, the iPad Air 2019 and the iPad mini 5 are so similar in so many ways, especially in regard to performance, most importantly, but keep in mind the key nuances that I highlighted here, and of course the difference in form factor. This once again costs $100 less, this costs $100 more, so spend your money wisely, and of course, you really can't go wrong with either of these. I also recommend going to the store to ultimately make the best, wisest decision. I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a like on this video, comment if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, I'm Noah, and I will catch you all in the next one.